gentlemen, our friends out in YouTube land, welcome back to Blind Boomerang. Here today we have a guest, Dr. Professor Arvin Scott, who is creator of music in the music department for University of Georgia and recent retiree. Yes. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here today. I would like to ask you a few questions for our YouTube friends. Yes. I'm familiar with your work, yes, but just to let them know what you have going for yourself. My first question is to you.
Yes.
Who or what inspired your love and passion for music?
For music, it was from an early age. I can remember back as far as kindergarten. I think what really inspired me, I know for a fact because I figured it out. It was really my mom, because she told me once she noticed I was beating on everything in the house, and Mom, I'm going to have a drum. I'm tired of beating on these cardboard boxes. I want to get in the band. She said, well, Arvin, I understand, because when I was carrying you, my favorite instruments were the drums. I would go to the parades and I would just marvel over the drums. I'd go to the football games just to hear the drums. So my mom passed that love on to me. It was natural, not the ability, but the love for it was a gift.
That is so awesome, awesome.
Thank
you, Mom, for
That's
that.
Right. Yes, yes.
because of the inspiration your mom showed you, you are now spreading it and sharing it with the world at how great music can be.
Yes.
Awesome.
I taught for 27 years at the University of Georgia, the same courses for 27 years, almost 5 days a week, to hundreds of students. I had separate classes. But the reason I didn't get bored was that I knew if I got bored, they would get bored. So I kept reinventing myself. Same material, but I would create different ways of presenting that same material. That's why I would go home and I'd create different ways of teaching the classes. Everything I'm teaching you guys, plus much, much more, I knew I had to keep it fresh. I kept them fresh. I received a nomination for the Teacher of the Year Award at the University of Georgia, and I was proud of that, you know. I was inducted into the International Golden Key Honor Society, and the only other person that received that award that year was the person who was over the honors program. So I felt pretty good. I'm not bragging. I'm just talking about how there are certain principles in life, and this is what I teach my children. If we just, live by those.
And I understand that you have done some extensive international travels throughout your career.
Yes,
could you please tell me some of the countries you have gone to?
Yes, I have traveled to various parts of Brazil. This was during my studies of my doctorate program while I was working on my PhD. I wanted to really explore the origins and the history of these instruments that I had been playing as a child, and I wanted to go all the way back as far as I could. So I know about the drums having the origins in Africa, various African countries. Yes. Well, I had an opportunity to go to Brazil, where the slave trade was very prominent in Senegal, and I was doing some studying there. I was observing I met some musicians there. I actually did some educational presentations, so I made some friends and we exchanged ideas from their culture and my culture from the United States. I also toured to Jamaica I've studied the drumming and music of Jamaica, and all of this was part of my research during my doctoral studies. In addition to Jamaica, I have also been to Curacao. I have studied the drumming of several African countries. I've had teachers from several African countries, although I have not arrived on the continent as of yet. But most of my mentors, the late Babatunde Olatunji, who's Nigerian, Denny Honfu Janvier was one of my major teachers from Benin, Africa, and I've had teachers from the Ivory Coast, Moitiam from Senegal, and so that was part of my international research study, traveling, and then I've done some performances in those areas and teachings, and then extensively, throughout the United States.
Awesome. So you had a very extensive experience throughout your career, which is very impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yes, and which leads to my next question. What is out of your international travels, which one is your favorite in relation to their culture of music?
Okay, international wise, speaking
Yes.
international. As far as my travels, let's say northwestern Brazil. Yes, because I learned a lot about samba. I learned about the origins of samba, which was called Simba from the African continent. Even the samba that's in Brazil now started out as another form of dance and music, directly from the slaves in Africa. So from there to the Brazilian continent, it became another form, but it still has its roots there. So I love samba. I use samba and forms of samba in my compositions. I am a composer. So on my albums, I draw back on what I've learned, from those different cultures, and I use those rhythms as basis for melody and rhythm, and also use it for teaching groups like your group, our group, like my youth group that's called Drumming for Success. I draw back on tradition because that's where knowledge is, and that's, I can teach with authority because it's not my opinion. It's based on proven historical development on up to the present, and it will take us on to the future from that.
Absolutely. And I must say, one of the destinations on my bucket list is to go to Rio de Janeiro and participate in the Summer Dance Festival.
And you will be dancing the samba. You will be drumming the samba. You will be singing the samba. That's what it's all about. And there's so many forms of it. Just like jazz, there are so many forms of jazz in the United States. If one might think that samba is one dance move or one rhythm or one. No, it's a movement. It's a whole genre.
Yes.
So it gets deeper and deeper and deeper the more you look into it. There's so many variations, just like the blues, just like jazz, just like gospel music. There's so many layers and so many variations on it. So that was one thing that opened my eyes when I started studying international. Oh yes, I've been to the Dominican Republic, and I love that. I learned so much there. I
love Dominican Republic.
Yes, ma'am. I thought merengue was a dance. I thought it was a beat. No. It is a genre just like others. There are just maybe dozens of types of merengue musics and dances and songs.
Okay, express myself. In our previous conversation some time ago, you mentioned that music is therapy. Is drumming a form of music therapy, and what impact does it have, or how does it relate?
Drumming really is. Drumming is one of the key instruments. The drum and the drumming are key in actual music therapy practice. Students get degrees in music therapy at universities and colleges, and those music majors, I teach them, at the university, I taught them how to use the drum in their practice of therapy. What the drum does, it resonates with our souls, with our bodies, with our spirit, and it connects with the rhythm of our heart, of our pulse. And we are, we're all vibrating beings as long as we have life in us. Music is nothing but organized vibrations, sound vibrations. And the drum, the reason it is so effective is that it's one of the quickest instruments that you can get a return. You can get a reward from just moving your hands or moving a stick. You can immediately get something back from that. Whereas on the piano, as beautiful as it is, if you don't know those chords and notes and scales, it's not going to make much sense. But a drum, you just need to let go and feel it. And then the second step, I would say, get with a trainer. Get with a coach who can because I've had many coaches throughout my life who helped me arrive where I am, whether you want to be professional or not. But if you want to really enjoy the instrument, just get a coach from someone to kind of help you get started with it, and then you'll be your own teacher from there. Yes.
Thank you. One last question for you, and that is, if you were conducting a 1-minute brief introduction of yourself and your program, Drumming for Success,
yes.
What keywords would you use, and how would you blow that person away?
Well, I would try to blow them away this way. Drumming for Success is a inspirational, motivational youth program that incorporates the use and sounds of drums and drumming to help our young generation, children and teens, realize that they can achieve, that they can get rewards from effort, and that it's okay to make mistakes, because when we drum, there are mistakes made, and I give them permission to do that. And so with Drumming for Success, we discovered that, hey, the only way to learn is being willing to make a few mistakes. And when you fall down, just don't stay there. Just get back up and look around, ask for some help, and keep going. Drumming for Success is awesome. It's in its 22nd year now. I just got an inspiration one day 22 years ago from a child. I gave him some drumsticks. He wrote me a beautiful letter, said, "Thank you, Dr. Arvin Scott, for the drumsticks. I play with my sticks every day." And when I saw that I didn't even have the program, I was playing jazz. I said, my goodness, this really touched that kid's heart. Why not touch thousands of kids' hearts that way? I quit my jazz band because I was teaching full-time at UG. I couldn't do both. And I started the program, and it's been alive and still growing after 22 years. And so now I have a GoFundMe program to sort of take it to the next level at www.gofundme.com/drummingforsuccess.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends out in YouTube land, Dr. Arvin Scott. So remember, life can be what you make it. It can be a drum of great music if you make it that way. So we will do a short demonstration because I have had several sessions with him. Now we will demonstrate on what can a blind person make music. Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. Here we go.
Yes. 3, 2, cloudy. Boom, boom, boom. A cheek-cha. A boom.
There you go. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share, because I'm coming back like a boomerang.